using a Kendall media. It's known as Kendall media. It's made of a desiccated pig intestine, dehydrated down where it requires about 10 gallons of the original raw gut when it's desiccated, and run through the extractor and dehydrated to make about 1 pound of the original material. Now that is placed in a tube. We use about 4 grams, and then we use 10 to 20 cc's of a tyrode solution. It's a chemical series of salts. Now that is what Kendall used for the isolation or bringing out this Bacillus typhosus in the filterable state, which is published in the Californian Western Medicine in 1931, our joint report on that. Now these organisms, again, before we go farther, they cannot be stained with the aniline or acid dye stains that's used in the ordinary technique and method of staining tissue sections or even bacteria. Now those organisms are so minute and so delicate that they have to be stained with a frequency of light. Now after we built our first high-powered microscope, we had to build an illuminant unit to be able to see these different types of organisms and different types of tissue also. So we had to build this particular unit. We built a unit which I have a patent on, a special lamp that will produce 2,000 candle power and a needle point of beam where it comes through the condenser. But between this source of illumination and the so-called substage condenser, we have a pair. On the universal microscope we have 4, but we use a pair of rotating wedge-shaped quartz prism. They're circular and they're wedge-shaped. And by rotating those, we bend the beam of light, that's what we term the neutral or core beam of the illuminant unit, at different angles of incidence, so that it strikes the object under examination at different angles of refraction. There we see these particles at a different refractive index, and every one of them is entirely different. For instance, we find that the Bacillus typhosus, in its filterable state, is a beautiful turquoise blue body. We see them swimming through the field. They're highly motile, and incidentally, if the organism, the bacteria, is a motile bacteria, in most instances the virus will be motile or highly motile, and vice versa.
Rife was a media star. He was in the newspaper all the time. The media loved him. He was working with the top researchers in the world. He was doing revolutionary work, and the media really picked this up. And then suddenly, after the 30s, nothing ever again. You never heard from Rife again. I mean, why is that? What happened?
We have a photograph which shows a banquet thrown in Rife's honor to celebrate the end of all disease. It was even announced in the media. And then, years later, all these people that were at this banquet in honor of Rife denied even knowing him.
As far as information goes from the historical past and the scientific truth of what happened. So, but what we discovered, I mean, what anybody will discover when they search the record, is that Royal Rife invented a microscope in the early 1930s, which was called the universal microscope, and its unique quality was that it was able to view viruses in their living state. able to view microbes as small as viruses in their living state. Now today, and even then, we had the electron microscope, which can see viruses, but in a snapshot approach, they're dead. They have to irradiate them with electrons, which is the method of operation. It kills them, and therefore you're not seeing the life process. And with optical microscopes, stains are used to bring out features, and the stains themselves are toxic, and once again you've got dead samples that you're viewing. Well, Rife saw this limitation in microbiology and microscopy and decided to address it. So his answer was to invent a microscope which used light to stain the sample, and thereby not killing it. And he was able to, using this method, obtain extreme magnification, extreme resolution, and he was able to view his samples in the living state, so he could see viruses moving around, going through their processes, which you can see with an optical microscope. But it was his ability to see viruses, which in the living state, which was his key innovation.
New research determining that motion at high frequencies could actually kill simple viruses. But is it really that simple? Fox News medical contributor Dr. Jennifer Ashton joins us live. Thank you, Jennifer, for coming on. All right, so a new way to kill viruses, shake them to death. How does this work?
Right. Now, first we want to give a very strong warning here. This does not mean that people can pick up other people or children and shake them when they're sick with a virus. But this is a very interesting mathematical model right now that was created. It's not brand new, but it has been shown recently out of the Arizona State University scientists to work by almost by shattering the shell around the virus. And if they can be blasted apart by high frequency laser waves, then of course we can kill the virus.
So I guess the idea is that people who maybe become immune to certain drugs cannot become immune, or at least their viruses can't, to this shaking?
Well, that's part of it. And the really important thing to realize when you're working on any kind of new therapy is you want to destroy the bad and protect the good. So same thing for chemotherapeutic agents. So when you're talking about antiviral drugs, a lot of them are so powerful that they're not that effective against the virus, and they do a lot of damage to the rest of the body. So this is one way, and hopefully down the road we can target the outer part of the virus with this high frequency.
Any potential problems with this?
Well, it's a logistical one, and we're talking high frequency here. We're talking 60 gigahertz, which means a frequency of moving back and forth 60 billion times per second. So that's going to be a logistical challenge for the people in developing this, but laser technology might make it possible down the road.
All right, Dr. Jennifer Ashton, the all-knowing Mrs. Ashton. Thank you very much. It's always great to see you.
You bet, Julie. Likewise.